Hi, I'm Emily Taylor from Collage Quilter. Today is a video tutorial teaching about the Sublime quilt that's behind me. This is a super fun, easy quilt to make, and it's part of the May Flowers quilt along for May 2019. So let's just dig in. I'm getting started now on a brand new sample so that I can teach you my methods for making this. So because this is so simple, you only need a few supplies. Let's just walk through those supplies real quick. We're gonna start, you need great fabric scissors. These are my Karen K. Buckley 6-inch perfect scissors. You'll need some stick pins. You'll need glue, and for this project today, we're gonna be using Aleene's Fabric Fusion. It's a permanent glue. You'll need lots of fabric that I've got laid out, and then you'll need your pattern. So the pattern is available at collagequilter.com. For the end of this month, now let's see, today is May 16th, 2019. Through the end of this month, you can get 20% off the Sublime pattern at Collage Quilter by using the code MAYFLOWERS in all caps, and it's plural. That will give you 20% off. If you have any problems, give me a buzz at emily@collagequilter.com. All right, so let's dig in. You can see the pattern is divided into gray tone values. So each flower has either 2 or 3 gray tones, and if you just follow that guide, your quilt is going to turn out really, just rich and yummy. I've gotten started on this, and I just want to show you what I did. So I selected my fabric. That's the first thing. Select your fabric palette. We decided on this one that we'll keep it kind of orange and yellow, really warm, rich colors, juxtaposed with the green. We think that will be a beautiful summertime quilt. So we started with our really light yellows, and then have a lot, probably 24 fabrics here, all the way down to our really dark, rich, burnt orange color. And again, you can see that I have fussy cut this piece. Don't be afraid to use the great big, beautiful, bold florals that you love, because they're great for fussy cutting. So you can see that that's what I did here. I think that will be a really pretty center for this flower. You can see that all I'm doing is pinning it in place because my foundation panel is set on my drafting table, which has a 1/4 inch, a piece of foam core board that's a 1/4 inch thick, and that allows me to stick pins in it. So that's the work surface that I recommend. It makes it really easy to just pin things in place until I'm ready to glue. So what I'll probably do is get this entire flower done, pinned in place, and then begin to glue. One question that I get a lot is, does it matter the order that I begin in? Should I start on the outside and move in, or should I start on the inside of the flower and move out? Honestly, it doesn't matter. If we were to do a close-up of this quilt, number one, you wouldn't be able to tell where I began, and the overlap, as long as everything is overlapped, it really doesn't matter the order of the overlap. Which brings me to another really interesting point. You can see the background of this Sublime has been collaged. For this project, we're going to leave the background white. This pattern is designed so that this can be your background fabric. There's no need to collage it. It's a really nice high quality piece of cotton, and that's going to be the background for this quilt. There's no further cutting or collaging required. But in this one, after I had finished all the flowers and the leaves, I decided I wanted to just try collaging the background and see what it would look like. I wanted a little bit more interest in the background, so I actually collaged the background last. Now that did make it a little more difficult, but again, it goes to show that you wouldn't know that I didn't do that last. Just a little note too about the background fabrics. I've worked with a local quilt shop, and she and I are making available some fabric bundles. This will be available on my website soon. So this is the background fabric that I used for the Sublime quilt. And this is the dirt. I don't know if you can see that dirt down there. That's not part of the panel, but I added it because I thought it gave it a grounding and made it, I don't know, I like the way it looks. So we have fabric bundles now that are available for the dirt and the background if you want to get them. I'll put them up on my website, collagequilter.com. All right, so anyway, I just want to show you how I'm going to cut my pieces and get started. And you can see I'm kind of getting started right there, but I've already got some pieces cut for the green. So I'm going to just start right in on the green leaves. And I want to talk to you a little bit about the green on the quilt. You can see there are some places where there's a little bit of overlap in the design. So there's a leaf that looks like it should be behind the leaf that's on top of it. In those areas, I've selected fabric that is quite a bit darker than the leaf that's on top of it. And by darker, I mean darker in value, but also cooler. So these colors back here are more green, more blue greens. You can see especially there's a little touch of blue up here, juxtaposed to that really bright yellow green. And the effect of that is to make it look like this is behind the top of this little flower. It really gives it depth and dimension. So don't be afraid to use a really wide variety of fabrics when you're creating the leaves and stems. Amelia, can you see over here too? Mm-hmm. This is another really good example where you can see the overlap has been affected or created by using some dark greens juxtaposed to the really light greens here. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing I want to show is just how random, if you can zoom in on that. I just want to show how random the leaves are. They're really made just with my scraps. So how I'm going to get started on this is I'm going to start with my smallest pieces of fabric. Now I have my fabric organized according to size and color. So for each color, my green for instance, I have this size and I have this size, and then I have a larger size that has my larger cuts, okay? And because I want to economize my fabric and use up all my scraps, I'm going to start here first. So all I have to do is dig in my scraps, and really I can just pull out any random piece and just start making it fit within that section of the quilt. That's all that's required to get started. So I'm just going to pull out pieces of my fabric scraps, and make them fit. Now when I want to cut something, people will often ask, how do you cut things? So let me just show you. The most efficient cut is a straight cut. So a lot of pieces will end up just kind of rectangular, square, even triangular. And then sometimes I'll kind of round a little bit of an edge because we've got rounded edges here, and that will just kind of go along with the shape of the leaf. Now you can see again, this is going to be really random. I like the variety and the juxtaposition of warm greens, a warm green like this, next to a cooler green like this. So as I get working on this, you'll see that the variety of greens really varies and adds so much interest and depth. The size of my pieces, you can kind of see they're about this size. Now as I begin working on a stem, of course they're going to get smaller and smaller, so I'm just going to take this piece and maybe round it a little bit and just start pinning. So this is it's a really fun and very simple way to use your scraps. It's a little bit like painting by number with fabric. So that's how I'll get started. When I've kind of finished an area that I like, that I'm really happy with, then I'll go ahead and glue them down. Again, this Aleene's permanent, the Fabric Fusion is a permanent glue, so it will adhere permanently. And let me just show you how I apply the glue. Okay, so I really like the way that's going. I think that's going to be, let's choose something that's a little dramatic for this bottom edge. Okay. So I think that will slide in right there, okay? I'm going to demonstrate how to glue. Okay, let me get a little closer so you can see me. It's really handy to have a table, a kind of a work table right nearby. Now this glue, it's a great consistency, so all you need is to do a little bead all the way around the edges of it. And again, it's clear, so I hope you can see it, but I'll hold it up for you. Can you see that? It's kind of hard to see.
Mine is not focusing, but they get the point.
Okay, I hope you understand. So all I've done is I've applied glue, a thin bead of glue all the way around that. And then I simply apply it here. I'm going to make sure that I overlap the outline of the gray. It's okay that it doesn't line up right with it. I want it to overlap slightly because the idea is we're going to cover the entire foundation panel. We don't want any of the gray tone printed design to show through. This is just a guide for fabric placement as well as fabric selection. So let's see, I think I've pretty much covered everything. That's it. You're just going to be cutting and applying pieces of fabric right to this foundation panel. If you have any questions about the process of making the Sublime quilt, please don't hesitate to find me. You can always find me in the Collage Quilt Along with Emily Facebook group, or you can send me an email, emily@collagequilter.com. So have fun with your Sublime quilt. I can't wait to see what it looks like. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye.